Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. In this video, I will show you guys how you can install N8N completely for free and automate your task. Now N8N is a tool which will automate your workflow. It can communicate to multiple tools and platforms. It can also read and write email on your behalf. Now let me give you a basic difference between this AI automation tool and normal AI LLMs. Now, if you are familiar with ChatGPT, which I am 100% sure that you are familiar with, and if you are not familiar with N8N, let me give you a basic simple language difference on these two platforms. ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok, these are all LLMs. They can suggest you what to do. They'll give you the response via chat that's where you should click and that's how you should perform a specific task, but it will not actually do that. So if you ask ChatGPT to write an email to your boss about leave attendance, it won't be able to do that. But in this case, N8N can write an email on your behalf, do tasks repetitively, and do that like 24/7 without your intervention. So that's the basic difference, and we call it AI agents or AI workflow automation. And this is a paid tool. So as you can see on my screen, I have N8N.io, which is a tool, and the website open for that tool. And if I go that for pricing, you can see it is for 20 euros per month. And if I switch it to annually, it's about 24 euros per month billed monthly, and you can automate these amount of workflow execution, and you can have 5 active workflows. But in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can install this completely for free, which is an open source version of N8N. So if you want to use N8N on your local system, you can use that completely for free. You don't need to pay to N8N. That's the quality that they have, an open source version. You can see the GitHub stars here. It's a GitHub repository. Basically, you can see the code and you can use it on your VPS, on your Google Cloud, which I'm going to show you, and on your desktop as well. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can install that on Google Cloud completely for free. And let me also give you an example of how workflows work and how actually it does the task, which will take you hours and hours. But with the help of N8N, you can automate that. It's going to do that within minutes. And before I show you the example, if you are already familiar with N8N, you can skip to the installation part where I will show you how to install that. I'm going to add chapters on this video so you can directly skip to the installation part. Now let me show you how N8N workflow works and what it can actually do and how powerful it is. So you can see here, I have already installed that on my VPS, and it is N8N tutorial.websensepro.com, and these are the two basic workflows. And you can also find a lot of workflows template in N8N. So if I go to N8N workflows, N8N.io/workflows, you can see they have currently more than 1500 workflows automation templates, which you can reuse based on your needs, right? So this is an example of the workflow which I'm going to show you guys. Google Map lead scraper. So what it will do, you will add the zip code of the specific city. It will scrape all the leads from the Google Maps, the phone number, the address, the name of the business, and save it in Google Sheet. Now, if you will do that manually, obviously it's going to take you a lot of time. But with the help of AI tools and N8N, you can do that really fast. Okay, so that's the workflow. And here you can see I have all of the necessary steps for the execution. So first we will add zip codes here. It will arrange and filter the zips, and it will then communicate with Google Maps API, which I've already connected, and it will then save the data to the Google Sheet, right? So all I'll have to do is just click on test workflow, and it will automatically scrape the lead and save it on this Google Sheet here. So here we have a results, which is currently empty, and we don't have anything here, right? And here we have the zip codes where we need the data from. So these are the zip codes from New York, from the city of New York. And here are the categories sheet. So it's saying ignore, so it will ignore all of these categories and it will work on these 4 categories: electrician, plumber, painter, home improvement store, carpenter. So it will automatically scrape the Google Maps data and add into results sheet, right? So all I have to do is just click on test workflow and it's going to automatically do all of that on your behalf. You don't have to manually scrape in the leads from the Google Maps. So I'm just going to click on test workflow. And now it's executing the workflow. You can see how quickly it went through all of the steps and it's already have created rows in my Google Sheets. And I am using the free version, so I have not paid N8N anything. I have just installed that on Google Cloud Console, which I'm going to show you how. Okay, our workflow is executed. So first zip code which we added has been scraped. Now you can see that we have all of the data showing up and that's been done really quickly. So we got about 52 leads, or you can say details of, and they have the website, phone number, and we have the address, we have the type of the lead. So here we have electrician, plumber, home improvement store. And now when I go to AZ Zips, you can see it says that it's been scrapped. And now when I'll execute another workflow one more time, it's going to go to the next zip code. So that's how powerful N8N is. Now let me take you to the installation part where you will learn how to install that completely for free. So in order to do that, you will need to go to console.cloud.google.com and log in using your email. Once you're logged in, make sure you have billing enabled. So you will have to go to billing. So click on these 3 bars and then go to billing and then create the billing account. So I have done that part already. You will have to link your card for enabling the billing purpose. Once you have your billing enabled, you will need to create a new project. So I have already created a project, N8N tutorial, just to show you guys. So you will need to click on new project and create a new project. Once your project is created, click on this navigation menu and go to compute engine and then click on overview. Now here you will see enabled compute engine API. I'm not seeing that currently because I've already done that step, but you will see enable. You just have to click on that enable button to enable the compute engine. Once you enable the compute engine, click on VM instances. And here is the one which is already been created. So this is this one, N8N tutorial.websenspro.com, and this is my compute engine, my VM instance which is already working. Now let's create a new VM. Click on create instance. And here you will have to select a specific setting which will come as a free tier for the Google Cloud, which you can use to create your new N8N instance. So guys, Google has a free tier of a VM where you can create an instance completely for free if you keep yourself within the free limits. And that's the link where you will find all of the details about that free tier. I'm gonna add this link on the description in this YouTube video. So as you can see there, Google Cloud has this free tier. And if I click on this, the free tier limits, it will give you all of the details about what are the limits which you will have to be within those limits in order to have the completely free instance. So if I scroll down here, and here is the compute engine where we are creating our instance, and you can see that we can create an E2 micro VM instance per month in one of the following US region with 30 GB persistent disk, and we will not be charged anything for that, right? So we will do the same. So let's go back to our details of the VM which we are creating. That's the name of the instance. You can name it whatever you want. And the region, we will select the same region which is allowed for the free tier. So it's US Central 1, and I think US Central 1 is within those tier. Yes, we do have US Central 1 as the free. Now we will select E2 Micro for our VM machine, and here we have E2, and if we scroll down and click on Advanced Configuration or click on this drop down, we will have the option of E2 Micro. You can see it here, E2 Micro. Click on that. And now let's click on OS and storage, where we will select our disk. Now operating system and storage, here are the details of the size of our disk and the operating system. Now let's click on change and click on from balanced persistent disk to standard persistent disk, and we will set our size to be 30 GB, as we have it mentioned here that we can have 30 GB per month standard persistent disk in our free tier, right? Perfect. Now click on select, and once you do that, click on networking, and in networking click on all of these 3 checkboxes. Perfect. Now let's click on create, and it's gonna take a few seconds to create the new VM for us, which will be the new instance for our N8N. Okay guys, our new instance has been created, and this is an external IP address which we will need to point to our domain name. Just I have it done here. So it's basically an external IP address, this one, which is connected to n8ntutorial.websenspro.com, which is my domain name. So you will just need to add an A record to your DNS settings. I'm going to go to that step later, but let's first click on SSH and execute all of the commands which I'm going to share with you guys. So once you click on SSH, it's going to authorize. It's going to ask you to authorize, so it will automatically authorize and start that. Okay, click on authorize. Okay, our SSH is running now. Now we will be executing some commands in this SSH. And what are those commands? You will find those commands in this GitHub repository. I'm also going to share the link in the description so you guys can easily find. Okay, so the first part is to install the Docker, and Docker, after that we will install our N8N in our Docker container. Okay, now let's first update all of the package in our VM. So I'm going to copy this sudo apt update command and paste it in here, and then click enter. Now it's going to update all of the packages within our VM instance, and it's done. You can see 31 packages can be upgraded, and it's done, right? Okay, now let's install the Docker. Sudo apt install docker.io. I'm going to copy this command and paste it to our SSH, and then hit enter, and it's going to basically install the Docker. Now it's saying after this operation you will need an additional disk space, 406 MB. Just type in Y and then click enter. Okay guys, so the Docker has been installed on our VM, our virtual machine, and now we will copy this command to start the Docker, paste it on our SSH, and then enable that. Copy this command and paste it on our SSH, and it's going to execute that. You should have a line showing up something like that. Okay, now let's start install the N8N in our Docker. Now make sure that you update your domain name as mentioned here. So I'm going to create a new domain name in my DNS settings, and I'll update that domain name here. So I'm going to create a new DNS entry on the domain DNS records. If you aren't familiar with DNS settings, it's not rocket science. All you have to do is to go to your domain registrar. I'm currently using Cloudflare. You might have GoDaddy or any other domain registrar. All you have to do is just go to DNS settings and add in the A record. So that's my DNS settings. I'm going to click on add record, and here I'm going to add the IP address pointing to my domain name. So let's disable that. This is the Cloudflare settings. You might not have this proxy status showing up, so don't worry about that. So here I'm going to paste in the domain name where I want to create the domain for N8N, and in this here, I'm just going to do N8N. Now you can see that it has created this domain name, which is a subdomain of my main domain, which is n8n.websensepro.com. Now it's going to point to an IPv4 address. And where will I find that IPv4 address? It's basically an external IP of our VM. So that's the new instance which we created. And that's the IP address, which is 34.45.244.62. So I'm just going to copy to clipboard by clicking on this icon here and then paste it to my DNS settings. After pasting the DNS settings, I'm going to click on save. So it will add this A record to my DNS settings. Okay, you can see that it has created this. Perfect. Now I'm going to move on to the next step, which is installing the N8N to my subdomain. Now here are these two commands. If you're doing that on your primary domain, you can use this one. But if you're using subdomain, make sure that it match the same format. So I am going to copy this here and change this domain from my own domain. So let me first paste into my code editor. Okay, so now that's the command which we will add into our SSH after updating the domain name. Now let me update this domain name, and my domain name is n8n.websensepro.com. I'm going to copy the same and update it below. Just like that, you will do the same for your domain name as well. Perfect. And now I'm just going to copy this and paste to my SSH. So that's my SSH. I'm going to paste my command and then hit enter. Now it's installing the N8N to my virtual machine. Okay guys, you can see that it's being installed now, and we will move on to the next step. So this is command which we did, which we just added, is going to download and runs the N8N to the Docker container which we created, expose the N8N to port 5678. It's going to set up the environment variable and all of these settings for the domain name. Now we will be installing Nginx to handle the SSL termination or to install the SSL. Now let's copy and paste all of the commands. Okay, it requires an additional space, so let's type in Y and then on. Okay, our Nginx has been installed. Now we will create our config file for the SSL to be handled. And this is the first command for configuring our Nginx. So just copy this command, paste it in here. It will basically create a config file. And in this config file, we will need to add this configuration. Now make sure to replace this yourdomain.com with the actual domain name. And in case you have subdomain, you will use this subdomain.com domain name, right? So I'm just going to copy this, paste into my VS Code and update my domain name. So let's remove this part here and update my domain name here. So I'm just going to copy this from here and paste it here. Perfect. Now I'm going to add this configuration to my config file, which is created in SSH. So just copy that and paste it to our file here. And then I'm going to save that. So press Control X. I am on Mac, so I'm going to press Control X to exit. And now I'm going to type in Y to save the file. And now it's asking me the file name. Do you want to create the file name by n8n.config? I'll say yes, and then type in enter. Perfect. Our config file has been created. Now I'm going to enable that configuration by adding this command here. So just copy this and paste it to your SSH. Perfect. And now let's restart our system and enable the Nginx by copying this command, just paste in here, and you should see this Nginx configuration file test is successful. If you are getting any error, let me know in the comments below and I'll reply back with the solution for that. Okay, now we will set up our actual SSL with the cert bot. Now let's copy this command here, paste it in here. It requires additional space, which is just 8060 KB, around 8 MB. So press in Y and then hit enter. Okay guys, now move on to the next command, and again we will update the domain name here. So I'm just going to copy this from here and add in my domain name. And hit enter. This is the final step to install the SSL, and it's now asking to email address for the renewal of the free SSL which we are installing. I'm going to add in our support email, support@websensepro.com, and type in yes. Do you agree with the terms and condition? Yes, I do. And your first certificate is already short to your email address. Okay, fine. Type in yes. Now it's requesting a certificate and installing that to our domain name. Perfect. It's deployed now. Now, after executing all of these commands, you should see your config file to be like this. Now, if I open my config file with the command which we had up on top, so that's for the config file, where it is, here it is, right? So if I open this config file, you should have it looking like this with all of the SSL details added. So if I just add in my command to SSH, you can see that we have this server and that all the SSL settings added. Perfect. Now let's see if our N8N instance is working. I'm simply gonna go to n8n.websensepro.com. And here you can see that N8N instance is working. And now I'm gonna create the account. So let's type in add the email. Click on next. And you can fill in the details here if you want, otherwise you can simply leave it. Okay, now click on get started. And okay, get paid features free for rare. No, I don't need that, so I'm just gonna skip that. Okay, now our N8N is working completely fine. Now we have this test a ready to go AI agent as an example. We can click on that and it will install that workflow and show us an example of how it will work. Again, you can use free the web flows which already have been added to the N8N workflows template directory. So just go to n8n.io workflows and play with the automation and see how powerful it is, right? And this is for creating a chat bot. So what it will basically do, it will basically chat and set up a meeting on your behalf by using OpenAI and add and create a new event on your Google Calendar, create a new appointment to your Google account. Okay, start questioning. So we will simply click on open chat after connecting this, and we will have this awesome chatbot ready to go. This is just an example of how powerful N8N is, and it can do a lot of work for you. Now, if you want to learn how you can basically copy these N8N workflows from the website, so all you have to do is just click on any of the workflow and then click on use for free. And here you have the option of copy template to clipboard. You just go to workflows, start from scratch. And here I'm just going to copy template to clipboard, click on that. And now I'm just gonna press Command V. I'm on Mac. If you are on Windows, you can simply press Control V and it will paste your workflow here, right? And if you want to learn more about N8N, how to create workflows and how to basically create workflows which can help ease your life and automate a lot of tasks, let me know in the comments below. We usually create a lot of WordPress Shopify tutorial, and going forward I'm going to create workflows which will help you automate a lot of tasks related to your web design, your Shopify store development, all of that kind of stuff. And that's it for the video. In this video, we learned how to install N8N completely for free using Google Cloud Console and automate our tasks. That's it for the video. Until next video, have a great day.